All right, option 4B, the toughest one of the group. Now, this is tough only because it's hard to understand what all these symbols mean, but let me try to explain. U sub n minus L. U sub n is the term. L is the limit. Remember, the limit is equal to 3/2. So as you go out towards infinity, U sub n minus L will be the difference between any term, any particular term way out there, minus the limit value of 3/2. So if you subtract U sub n minus L, that difference should be equal to 7 over 4n minus 2, which was the remainder after our long division. So we know the sequence is going to 3/2 as a limit. And there's always going to be just a little bit of remainder, and that remainder, 7 over 4n minus 2, is approaching 0, even though it's getting very, 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 very small. So what they want you to figure out in this problem is how many terms do you have to go out until the difference between the term and the limit value, if you subtract those two, is equal to 0.1. So let's set that up. U sub n minus L. That difference we know is 7 over 4n minus 2. That's the remainder. Now that remainder has to be less than 0.1. So let's just solve this equation for n, and we'll figure out how many terms we have to go out until that difference is less than 0.1. Reciprocating both sides of this inequality, 4n minus 2 over 7, and 1/10 is 1/10. Reciprocated becomes 10, and when you reciprocate an inequality, you must reverse the symbol. Multiplying both sides by 7, 4n minus 2 is greater than 70. Add 2 to both sides, 4n is greater than 72. Divide both sides by 4, n is greater than 18. All right, so what that means is you have to go out 18 terms until the difference between the actual term value and the limit value of 3/2 is equal to 0.1 or less than 0.1. So our first n is equal to 18. Now we're going to repeat the exact same process for part 2, except this time we want the difference to be a lot smaller, 0.00001, which is 100,000. So we're going to do it exactly the same way. 7 over 4n minus 2 is less than 100,000th. I'll just go ahead and write that as a fraction. Reciprocate both sides. 4n minus 2 over 7 is greater than 100,000. Multiply both sides by 7. 4n minus 2 is greater than 700,000. 4n is greater than 700,002. N is greater than 175,000.5. Now it says n, little n, term number is greater than n, capital N, where capital N represents the term number, so we can't have a term number of 175,000.5, so the term number would be equal to 175,000. So you'd have to go out 175,000 terms until the difference between the term value and the limit value is equal to 100,000. That is the end of 4B.